What's up, guys? This is NAWSH. A friend of mine was asking how I did some of the editing on my recent music video, so I figured I'd make a little video just kind of talking through some of it. I used DaVinci Resolve, so this might serve as a little bit of a tutorial. I'm still kind of a beginner myself, but if you've seen any of my stuff, you can see that at least I have the basics down and I can do a few creative things, and I'll just kind of walk you through a few of the things that I did. So the reason I use DaVinci Resolve, number one reason is it's free, legitimately free. Like the free version is a professional video editing. I don't know what the equivalent of a DAW is for video, but it's, you know, it's like a DAW for video, right? It's a professional video making software for free. There is a paid version. I think it's $299. It has some extra effects and stuff. I found a few of them in there where it was like, oh, you can pay for the full version and use that thing. And I don't know what those things even are to even know the value in it, but one of these days I'll probably do the upgrade if I don't switch to another, whatever these things are called. I have two versions of the video I saved to, just in case I wanted to do something like this. So we're going to go ahead and open the one that is essentially just the compilation of all the shots synced up to the song. Hopefully you know enough about DaVinci Resolve at this point, or just editing video, to kind of get the gist of what you're going to see. What you're seeing here is all the takes where I was actually doing the vocals, like singing along to the track. There's a couple other shots that are just me like walking around, dancing. The intro is actually just my friend Marziano doing a lighting check, and he was just walking around me, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna say some stuff, and I started just talking. And that's how I got the motherfucker. So this first track here is actually the song. Everything else is muted, but you can see that there's audio, and that's actually just from a Bluetooth speaker that we had there. We just played the song, I sang along, and I used that audio as my key to sync things up. So as long as you start from the beginning of the song, it's pretty easy. If you zoom in here, you can see the beginning of the song. Now, it kind of looks like some of this is off. I don't know how that worked out. My computer can barely handle this, you guys, so bear with me as it struggles to keep up. Now, whatever track is up higher is the one that gets seen, obviously. So what you can do is kind of just, I talk about everything in terms of audio because my audio stuff kind of just translates over to the video. So you can see as we go through, we see the different shots and all the way down to nothing. And we can just kind of watch along with any of them. This was a joke or a lie. I'm stuck in my mind. Narcissistic suicide. So we got different shots. Some of these are okay, some of them not so good. There was only one that was like really, really good from start to finish. That's the one I labeled as good. Take 3 good. That take 1 wasn't so good. Take 2, I was like kind of extra pissed off, so I labeled it as the pissed off one. So I'm like super mad. Yeah. We got 2 sitting down ones, like 2 different angles of me doing it sitting down. I was pretty stoked about that. And then the last one is just me like with the mask on. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but my glasses are hella fogged up. Most of the time I'm decapitated, which is why I called it Mask 1 Decapitated though. Let's go ahead and open up the project that has all the edits. Okay, so we've opened up the final version of what we ended up with. As you can see, it got really complicated. A lot of different layers going on here. Well, it's mostly what you saw with a couple more. I added some other stuff for effects. For instance, this moss, which like on a tree, I use that to add some like distortion, and you can barely see it. It's at less than 1% opacity. Let's go look at it. You got 0.15% opacity. It's over in the top right here, the inspector. So the inspector is how I do a lot of the effects. If you look at composite mode here, this is super useful for doing all kinds of psychedelic types of effects. So it kind of created this red. I'll just bring up the opacity right here so you can see. That's what it would look like if it was fully visible. It's just way overkill, obviously. So we bring it way down, even way low, it's still too much. It's just it takes over the whole thing. Even at 2.6%, it's just way too intense. So I had it all the way down to 0.15, and it just adds a tiny bit of this red distortion across the whole thing, and it's just moving. So that was that. So obviously I'm doing these edits here that are jumping from scene to scene. Basically what I do is I go through line by line my own lyrics and just go through each shot and just decide, all right, which one's the coolest. And then I also think about making the edits on beat. You can see the transients in the song. If you zoom way in here, all these little spikes, those are beats basically. Most of the bigger ones are snares generally, so you know that's going to be on the snare. The one in between is going to be kicks, because I just did 4 on the floor on the song. It's just like whatever, any type of beat, you're just going to want it in sync with the kicks and the snares, right? So my computer can barely run this, so you can't even see the edits that I did. And that was kind of key, is I did all the edits first just to get the shots right. And then I printed that and I sent it over to a friend of mine who put it through some VJ software called Resolve. I told him to just put effects just across the whole thing, just like really crazy. And he sent me back this guy here, which I basically put on top of everything. It's the same video, but going through all these crazy effects. And I didn't want to use just that by itself, because it's too much live show DJ effect kind of thing. Like I do want it to have still some of the more regular kind of shot mixed in. So what I did was I automated the opacity. To automate in DaVinci here, you got this little diamond guy on the right. So any of these parameters you can automate by creating automation points. These little carrots here will send you to each point. As I step through, you can see the timeline kind of bringing you to each point where I made a change. I don't know, there's probably a way to show these lanes. Oh yeah, see, there they are. Never actually looked at it. I just found it. I'm learning about Resolve in the middle of this video. Isn't that amazing? I actually just did this by sight. You don't even really need to use the graph. But because I would just step through and just kind of find the points where I wanted things to kind of go in. And again, I used the beat. I got the beat lined up right here. So if I wanted the effects to kind of come in and pulse with the beat, I would set a point before, just create it, and then set a point where I want it to spike and bring it up right there, and then set another point where I want it to come down. And then, if you wanted a flat line, you'd just go to where you want it to go to and then make another point there, and so on. And that's how I ended up with that for the whole thing. As you can see, it's kind of cool to look at. I'm glad that I found the little graph. I also used the original animation that I had someone else make, and used a, let's see, I just changed the opacity, I think. Yeah, I just automated the opacity on that, so it just kind of fades out. What else did I do here? There's some text at the end. It's just credits. I don't know what there is to explain on that. The main thing is using transients, or for those that don't really know too much about editing audio, the little spikes in volume that you see, these are key to knowing where the beats are, you can just try it out. My computer barely informs me as far as what my end result's going to be. It's a good thing that I'm working on short videos right now, because honestly, just sometimes I have to render it and just take notes on what I need to go fix. So use the visual guide, and yeah, that's basically it. Composite mode will give you lots of like psychedelic effects, layering. Yeah, hopefully you found that informative. I'm still learning about DaVinci Resolve. If you have any tips for me, and you see anything in this video that's like, oh my gosh, this would be so much easier if you did it this way, please tell me in the comments. If this helped you out, let me know also. Give me a like, give me a subscribe. And yeah, that's it.